Hello, everyone. Tiger Stacker here. I promise today's show will be eye opening, educational, and might not be exactly what you want to hear, but it's necessary. And here to help us educate everyone on this topic is the CEO for Citizens for Sound Money, Daniel Diaz. He's been in the precious metals market for some time now, and he also understands legislation and the importance of getting sound money in as many states as possible. In addition to that, I've asked one of the best analysts in our community to help contribute to this conversation, Frostbite Coins. In addition to that, they're going to be live streaming off of their individual platforms as well. This is important, people. We need to get the numbers out. And yes, I do want to build my channel, but sometimes the word getting out is even more important than getting building the channel. So if no matter where you hear from this, please stay for the entire thing. Not all legislation is good. We've seen states such as Washington and Maryland make legislation taxing the purchase of silver and gold. And now we are facing bills in other states, namely West Virginia and Colorado, that are threatening the rights of citizens to own or purchase sound money. So without further ado, I want to welcome my guests today, Daniel Diaz and Frostbite Coins. Welcome, Daniel. Welcome, Frosty.
Hey, Tiger. Thanks for having us on.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Daniel, let's first talk about West Virginia and Hawaii, and then we'll move to Colorado. As you may know, West Virginia has a bill pushing for retail brick and mortar businesses to mandatorily accept cash from customers that are in the physical building instead of only digital payment. Hawaii has a Senate bill that's similar, trying to do the same thing. I did 3 videos and 1 live stream on this about a week and a half ago. And if none of you have seen that, please go see that. It's very important for everyone. I mentioned this as a segue to the real topics that we're going to talk about today. There's a different bill in West Virginia and something else in Colorado. So let me bring this up. When I first contacted you, it was because of a letter, this letter here, I had received from Money Metals Exchange, which I'm now putting on the screen for you and the viewers. It made mention of 5 different bills in West Virginia that call for a partial government takeover of gold. These House bills are 4673, 4689, 5604, and Senate bills 172 and 413. Basically, they're going to give West Virginia bureaucrats the power to manage, oversee, and control purchase, sell, storage, and use of gold and silver in West Virginia. And it can put a lot of businesses in West Virginia in a risk for being taken out of basically out of commission. So now that I've covered all that, you talked to me about being involved in ALEC. So can we talk about this topic as well as what is ALEC, and can you expand on these topics?
Yeah, so ALEC stands for the American Legislative Exchange Council. It was founded by Ronald Reagan. His idea, Ronald Reagan was a strong federalist, and he wanted the states to lead policy changes. So he created ALEC, and is the largest gathering of conservative legislators in the country. So twice a year, in the summer and in the winter, the ALEC meets and they come together, draft mock legislation. And essentially, it's like a mock legislature. You have task force. And what it does, it brings together the private sector with the public sector, and they work together to create model legislation for the country. So our organization, Citizens for Sound Money, we joined ALEC because we wanted to create model legislation for sound money. However, there was already, we joined a little too late. We couldn't submit our own legislation. There was already some model legislation out there by a couple of Arkansas legislators. And there were provisions in there that we did not like. We were able to get some of it amended, some of the leave tender language amended, and we got some of the other things taken out, but we couldn't get the depository language. So that was in the summer. Then in December, we couldn't remove it because it was already passed. So once it's passed, the board of directors as approves it and then becomes model legislation. So in this December, we stood up in our task force and we told them that we are going to be challenging in the summer and we're going to be presenting amendments and changes to this model legislation. So one of the senators from West Virginia, I don't know if she's the one that is the sponsor on the Senate side. I believe she is. I'm looking for it now. But I think she was the president of ALEC. So over 30, I believe over 30 states took this language and have submitted it to get passed. And so far, I don't know of any state that has actually passed it. It has failed in every state that we've been tracking. Now, mind you, there's only myself, Benjamin Schaefer, who's a director of operations, and then our partners at the Sound Money Trade Association, which we were the chartering organization of that trade association. And right now it's Kim Coleman that we just hired a new executive director for the trade association. So there's really only 4 of us and 3 of us that are managing. It's hard to keep track of every single bill that we're tracking because we're tracking 118 bills across the country for Sound Money. So it's been tough to keep track of them all. But as far as I know, that specific bill has failed in every state. I know they voted on a similar bill in Utah, but it was a little different. So what this bill is doing and what we disagree about the ALEC language, and feel free to stop me whenever you want, Tiger, is that the legal tender portion is fine. That's the part that we fixed and it got through. The problem when it gets into the state depositories. The official position of the Sound Money Trade Association, the Citizens for Sound Money, is that we're okay with states having their own depositories to hold public funds, to hold their own gold and silver. Where we have a problem is when the state tries to, one, create depository and compete against the private sector. So when the state is, in these bills, what they're trying to do is they also want to hold private citizens gold and silver and compete against private depositories. So Sound Money Defense League is essentially a DBA of Money Metals Exchange, and Money Metals Exchange has the largest depository in private depository in the country in Idaho. I mean, that completely competes against their business model. And any other private vaulting, like Golden Eagle Coins has a vaulting, Brinks, Loomis, they all have vaulting. So if the state starts competing against the private sector, that's what we're against. We're libertarians. Anytime the state gets involved in the free market, it only makes things worse. They never make things better. So our position is not to kill the bill. I mean, if we had the manpower and the budget, like Sound Money Defense League, we'd definitely maybe hire lobbyists and everything. We'd like to get it amended and amend the bill because we understand how difficult it is to get legal tender language into the legislature with a positive passage. It takes a lot of time and effort. However, we're not crying, we're not shedding a tear if the bill dies because that provision is we're opposed to those provisions in the bill. So it isn't just West Virginia. Where else? I think Kansas. It failed. It's failed in at least 5 other states that I know we've been tracking. And we recently paid for an AI legislative tracker that's been helping us tremendously. But last year we were doing it manually, and we thought there was only like 30 bills or something like that. I mean, with this, it opened up our eyes. There's over 118 bills that have been filed this year, which is great for the Sound Money movement. But there are a lot of bad bills out there as well.
Well, since I last talked to you about these areas, I called our friend, attorney Chris Pritt, who, as you all know, he's running for West Virginia State Senate, and he has a way of investigating it. He told me that all 5 bills have died in committee. Now, we've talked about this also, and one of the things that sounds like it's going to be remade, reintroduced for 2027, during which I'm kind of hoping that Chris, you, Citizens for Sound Money, can get better verbiage set up for the next round, because it sounds like it's coming whether you like it or not. So
that's why ALEC in the summer is so important. So we're going to be rejoining under the Sound Money Trade Association because that is the private sector and the industry. and we're going to be pushing for changes to the model legislation, and hopefully those legislators who filed the bill are aware of it, and we might even have to call every single legislator, like, look, there's new ALEC language that we fixed, and hopefully that encourages them to submit a new version or substitute the bills that they filed this year.
Understood. So while everyone's thinking about that, let's put the next one on the chopping block. Let's now move to Colorado. Colorado, there is a bill 26-1289, which has it has under section 17 repeals of the precious metal and bullion sales and use exempt, and it's supposed to take place in January 1st, 2027. This right here is the current exemption, where precious metals are exempt. But the way that it reads to me is not only are they going to repeal that, but it's going to be repealed for everything. So there will not be any potential loopholes, if you will, for lack of a better word, where there's not going to be any issues regarding pre-33 gold or U.S. minted whatever. It's going to include everything, including jewelry and everything else that is precious metals. So I was wondering if we can go into that as well, because I want to present both of them and then go from there.
Yeah, that bill was on our tracker too. You made me aware that you guys just made me aware that it's coming up on committee on the 16th. Our tracker doesn't have it in the calendar yet, so I'm going to figure out why it hasn't put it up there. But yeah, we on our notes, it's a high priority and we're opposing it. So now that we know ahead of time, we're going to look into filing to give testimony against this legislation. Look, our organization, Sound Money Defense League, we're against taxation on gold and silver. I mean, why would you tax money, right? So that's why we're pushing for it to be legal tender as well. So I mean, this is just horrible. I mean, one, they got rid of sales tax, and there was only to last year there were only 5 states in the union that had sales tax on gold and silver, and then Maryland added it, or I think it was Oregon or Washington. I think it was Oregon, Washington. Yep. Added it, and now Colorado's following suit. Now, the reason why all these states are getting rid of taxes is because they're running huge deficits. They have huge government programs. They're billions of dollars in debt, but they're spending more than they're bringing in tax revenue. So that's one of the main reasons. But the taxed precious metals transactions are a drop in the water, even less than a drop, like a micro drop of water in their entire revenue budget. So it's like in Maryland, they were estimating $2.5 million total, and they're in the hole a few $1 billion. I mean, and it completely killed the industry in Maryland. It's completely killed the industry in Washington. It'll completely kill the bullion industry, the coin shops, in Colorado too. So when you add taxes, I mean, Maryland is even worse because they're small enough that you can just drive 30 minutes in any direction and go to a state that doesn't have sales tax, and they've lost 70 to 80% of their business. Washington, people are literally driving to Oregon, Oregon, to buy bullion because they refuse to pay sales tax. This is a horrible idea, and our organization is tracking it, and we will be testifying against it.
So, Daniel, I've done a lot of research on this particular one, and I want to just enlighten everybody kind of exactly what's going on. So in 2021, Colorado issued a exemption against numismatic coins as well as bullion. The tax-exempt coins were monetized bullion or other forms of money. The coins manufactured from gold, silver, platinum, palladium, and other metals, and coins that were designated as a medium of exchange. Now, the tax exemption on the metal bullion was the sale, storage, use, or consumption of precious metal bullion exempt from sales tax. But here's where the kicker gets pulled in, and this is where you're talking about it being an issue. The tax exemption applies to any precious metal that has been put through a process of refining. That language is a beast because they're not. That removes loopholes. Like that is everything.
As
And
everything.
it's that language that makes this bill such a danger to folks in Colorado.
Yeah, because everything is refined. To get the
Exactly.
pure
Yeah.
gold and pure silver, you have to refine it. It doesn't come out of the
Yep.
earth that way.
No,
Everything
and
that
so
wouldn't be taxed as ore. Who in the heck wants to buy and trade an ore?
Yeah,
no one, because you don't know that that big nugget you got isn't 80% rock on the inside,
right. Exactly.
right? So no, it's not going to happen. So it's that language that's damning. And this is why when I saw this, I told Tiger, like, we got to talk about this like right now, because if you're in and around this area, this is going to put a problem on you. And if you're out of state and you do internet sales, not only do you get a higher tax because of what's happening in Colorado, but now you're paying additional sales tax because you're doing it online. So there could be potential issues with taxes on this. So again,
Yeah.
this one's a problem.
Huge
Yeah.
problem.
It is. It is a
My,
major.
my,
Go ahead.
my next concern was there'd be other states. Now, Colorado basically is a blue state, but there's going to be other states, maybe blue, maybe purple, who's going to try to use this as model legislation to try to pass it in their states.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing. You know, it's the red states are easier. I mean, we're having an easier time getting gold and silver legislation passed in red states, and for the first time, we have been successful in getting legal tender passed through a committee in Maryland. And now it's going over the Senate, passes the Senate. It passed Maryland unanimously, and the Democrats control the legislature in Maryland. So if it passed the House that easily, unanimously, hopefully it passes the Senate, and then Maryland will be the first blue state in the country to make gold and silver legal tender. We also have legislation to get rid of the sales tax as well. That's a little bit harder because they are having a budget issue, and we're 50-50 right now on the sales tax. We were surprised how quickly they voted out the legal tender. It was like a day or two after we testified. We testified 2 weeks ago for sales tax, and they still haven't voted on it. So we're a little worried about the sales tax in Maryland. But other states, if Maryland passes this, then now we have a case to all the other blue states. Like, look, Maryland just got rid of taxes, and they have a huge deficit in their budget because they understand what this does to the industry. They understand what this does to people who save in gold and silver, and that's how we argue and when we testify that gold and silver is money and it saves. I always push it that gold and silver keeps your purchasing power when I testify. The dollar doesn't. I give examples. You know, I give an example, like in Maryland, 70% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck with not $1,000 to their name, and 80% of Americans say that if they stop receiving their paycheck, they'd have a difficult time meeting their obligations. And by making gold and silver legal tender, it gives confidence to their citizenry to use gold and silver and save in gold and silver because the state recognizes it. There's something psychological with most people, not us in the stacker community, but most people who aren't stackers. When the state says, "Hey, this is good," they start thinking about, oh, maybe I should buy some gold and silver, right? So that's the whole mentality behind that. That's why that's one of our biggest issues to push. But yeah, 100%. I mean, look at what happened last year. Florida was passing gold and silver legislation, and then Texas took their language. And then Texas has the same problem that Florida has, where nothing is legal tender because of the way they defined it. They didn't even read it; they just copied and pasted it because Florida had the model legislation for electronic transfer of gold and silver regulations. I guess I don't know who grabbed it. I don't know the whole story, but they just grabbed Florida and put it in there. So yes, of course, states will copy other states. There's a competitive nature between the legislatures.
Now I understand. And I also see this as waves. You get a wave of people trying to pass laws to take the gold, silver away from the citizens or the power thereof or tax them. Then you get a wave to try to give everything back to the people. So there's got to be a constant vigilance.
So can I ask you something, Daniel, real quick before you go? Mm-hmm. So in the American culture, we don't save like many other cultures. And I was taking an Uber to get my car fixed the other day, and I was talking to an Indian gentleman, and I said, "Can you do me a favor? Tell me what your cultural understanding of silver and gold is." And he's like, "Oh, they're the most precious gifts." Like for weddings, that's what we give, is we give silver. And when you're wanting to do, the dowry or something like that, when they get married, you want to provide them with some really nice things that they can endow themselves with. But for family wealth, we use gold, and
Mhm.
they understand that it is an essential thing. It's generational. It's something that's taught. And so that my channel is a numismatic channel, right? But I
Mhm.
want people to understand, look, I want to talk history, but we have a small 250-year history compared to nations that have been doing this for thousands and thousands of years. We would be wise to look at other countries and go, why are they jumping all over precious metals?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
know something, right? And so we need to take some lessons from some of these people that, and acculturate this. So I really appreciate the conversation that's being had right now.
Yeah, absolutely. In our channel, we always look at the macro and geopolitical situations. And look, every major central bank is loading up on gold and silver. Something is going to happen. I've been saying this for a better part of a year. The future, the current monetary system, the fiat system, is coming to an end. The future monetary system is going to be a digital asset backed by world assets, and I think that's going to be it's going to be gold, silver, and maybe some real estate. The United States backs their currency with real estate. That's going to be real backing. And it's not redeemable, except you can transfer title and deeds. But I think the future is to be a digital monetary system. They've been preparing the central banks created ISO 2022 for instantaneous settlement between central banks digitally. They're using XRP's rails. They're using other digital assets rails to transfer currency to one another. So the future is going to be digital, whether we like it or not. The way you protect yourself is you get physical. You get physical gold and silver, because gold and silver has always been money, and and especially if they back that digital currency, or even if they back a new form of fiat currency with gold and silver. I mean, you're going to want to own and hold the money, or at least have title to that money in one of the companies that hold it in Bailey relationship, meaning that they don't own it; they're just warehousing your gold and silver, and you own it.
So that you're in this case, it's basically a depository, but you have a little bit more control.
It's right, but it's private depositories that have insurance, like Kinesis, Alpine Gold, Glint, One Gold, which is APMEX. One Gold, the family, the company that owns APMEX, MTB, PAMP. One Gold is BIG, Bullion International Group. They're one of the biggest, if not the biggest, bullion company in the world. So, I mean, we favor private depositories, private companies that control it, because there's an incentive for private companies not to commit fraud, because then they will go to jail, right? The government gets fraud and steals your money. There's nothing that they can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. It's
Well,
confiscation.
it gets stuck in litigation for 100 years.
100, right? You're not going to win.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's why we're against government, even state governments. And so now, I'm not going to name this group, but there's a group out there that their argument for making this writing this legislation, they're the ones that really pushed it in ALEC, was that they trust states more than they trust the federal government. Okay, sure, I trust my state more than I trust the federal government, but do you really trust the state? Because to hold your gold and silver, sure, they might be able to fight off, Texas might be able to fight off the federal government from confiscating your gold and silver, but look at what happened during COVID. They took away our civil liberties and civil rights when they locked everything down. Do you really trust the government that took away our rights to conduct business and freely travel within the state to protect your gold and silver if they are in a financial crisis? Absolutely not. And that's why we are against states holding private funds. If the state wants to hold their own gold and silver in the state depository, we will support that legislation, but we will not support the state holding private funds.
That makes sense. So they must have third party. I don't know what the right word is. Third party people checking the books and checking the
Auditing.
metal.
Right. So before you put your money, because gold and silver is money, in any depository, you want to make sure that they're insured, and that they're audited by a third party, reputable third party company, not an attestation from an attorney. You want, because that just means their license is on the hook and they could be on the take. You want an actual third party auditing company, and you want them at least audited twice a year. So, I mean, all the companies I've mentioned have audits and have insurance on their bullion.
So I don't, being that I show my face and I do numismatics and stuff and I show coins, I don't keep stuff at my home. So I offset it, and they're audited every quarter. They provide an annual assessment, let people know what's going on, and their security is top notch. So I highly recommend the private as well. It's amazing. And of course, I live in Texas, so it'd be dumb to try and approach one of those places. But yeah, again, it's OPSEC is important, but make sure you do your due diligence when you're looking at storing offsite, because not everyone, like he said, is trustworthy.
Yeah, and look, Texas has its own depository, and they hold people's private gold and silver. But there's two other private sector companies that are large, have large depositories as well. I mean, nothing against Texas, but I'm Cuban. I'm not a big fan of government in the first place, So I'd rather put my money in a private company versus the state depository. But that's me, and I think that's a lot of libertarians and a lot of stackers. They feel that way. The people that are supporting that legislation aren't really stackers. They're not really from the gold and silver community. They're from the financial sector. So it's a different perspective.
That makes perfectly good sense.
And I do want to mention something that one of the people mentioned in the comments in live chat, is that vote with your feet, right? Like Florida will happily accept anybody. I think Florida is the greatest and freest state in the union, and New Hampshire might argue against it, but people love the beaches of Florida. I don't think New Hampshire can offer that, and we have quite a few more people moving to Florida than New Hampshire. But New Hampshire is probably the second freest state in the union.
Yeah, that makes perfectly good sense. We need to get. I'd like to see it as a federal reacceptance of gold and silver as money, reaffirming what's already in the Constitution.
Yeah, I mean, actually, it's not the Constitution that states gold and silver is money. It's the Coinage Act of 1792 that defined gold and silver as money. The Constitution only states gold and silver in Article 1, Section 10, where it says that states can only make gold and silver coin tender for the payment of debts. That's really the only mention of gold and silver in the Constitution. I think that's just I think people are connecting 1792 and Article 1, Section 10 together, but 1792 is the only place that really made gold and silver money in the United States.
Okay, I'm glad you cleared that up. I probably make the same mistake everybody else has been making.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who do that, and I looked into it because I've heard it a few times, and I'm like, I don't know, and I checked, and that's where it's coming from. That's where it comes from.
Understood.
So there's actually two laws, are there not, regarding that? There's the Title USC that everybody quotes, and then there's an additional law that was done in something like 2008 that amended that. But I don't remember what that one states. I'd have to go back and pull it up.
Talking about federally?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But, I mean, gold and silver has always been legal tender, but it wasn't through the Constitution. It was through acts of Congress or regulation.
Right. Yeah, because in order for a coin or something to be minted, it has to pass the legislation. Thus, the fact that we have so many coin acts.
Right, exactly. I mean, the most recent was I forget what it's actually called, but in 1985, the only piece of legislation that Ron Paul was able to get through for sound money, making the American Gold Eagle and Silver Eagle. I think later on it was the Buffalo. But yeah, and then we had the Silver Eagles and Buffalo starting in 1986. So I don't know if your audience knows this. There's 5 kinds of dollars in the United States. There isn't just $1. There's the Federal Reserve note, which is the normative base metal dollar. And then we have the gold dollar, which is 1/50th of a troy ounce, because a gold ounce is 1/50th. I'm sorry, a gold ounce is a $50 bill, $50 coin, and it's 1/50th of an ounce is a dollar, gold dollar. A silver dollar, which is a whole ounce. Then you have the palladium dollar, and then you have the platinum dollar. So we have five different dollars, and it's actually in the law that the treasurer is responsible for keeping the equal purchasing power of all the dollars of the United States. And he's done a horrible job. He's breaking the law by not maintaining the same purchasing power of all the dollars of the U.S.
Wow.
I didn't know there were 5 different types of dollars. That's interesting.
Yeah.
They're all denominated as dollars, but the same purchasing power. If you try to use a gold dollar or a silver dollar, platinum or palladium, you're giving away your wealth.
No, you use it at the market value. So
Okay.
Alpine Gold, we're going off tangent here, but Alpine Gold uses a qualified business unit to conduct their accounting in gold dollars and silver dollars. So there's a business. So businesses that deal in foreign currencies, they can create a qualified business unit, keep their accounting in that currency, and then convert it at tax time into dollars. You can do the exact same thing with gold dollars, silver dollars, platinum dollars, and palladium dollars. In fact, the Sound Money Trade Association, we're keeping our accounting for all donations and expenditures in gold dollars. We're doing a qualified business unit, and then at tax time, all we got to do during the year is keep track of the gold dollars that we spend, and then at the end of the year, we just we do our accounting and then convert the gold dollar to the U.S. dollar, base dollar equivalent.
That helps. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm a nerd. Sorry.
No, it's okay. That's language I'm going to need to understand. And again, this is something I firmly believe in silver and gold being genuine money. However, that's a whole segment that I haven't even begun to got into. So I will be, if you don't mind, I'll be sending you some information on how, or asking you for information on how to better understand that, because I'm really curious about that.
Yeah, absolutely. The only reason I know this, guys, is because of the battle and the education that we had to give to the staffers in Florida in the Senate, and explaining every aspect of legal tender laws, because they're attorneys, but they're not legal tender experts. So I would count myself as one of the top legal tender experts in the country, just because of everything that I've had to do in legislation. And I think the other two experts are Larry Hilton from Alpine Gold and the Legal Tender Services, and then Edwin Vieira out in Virginia, and there might be a few others, but there are not a lot of legal tender experts when it comes to gold and silver.
Okay.
So there's a couple questions, Tiger. Do you want to see the one that Check Stacker asked, and then there's another one
Okay.
that Paul is asking about the platinum. Who mints the platinum
I'll
dollar?
get to that one. How does the new Texas gold red notes play into the tradability of gold and gold backs?
I haven't heard about the Texas Red Notes. What do you guys know about the Texas Red Notes?
Frosty, you're from Texas.
Yeah, all I know is that Texas passed legislation for an in species monetary system that was approved. I believe it was approved over a year ago, somewhere in that time frame.
They passed legal tender language, but it didn't create a new currency. They just recognized gold and silver as legal tender, and then they had the same language as Florida. So technically, when the law goes into effect, nothing is legal tender. When you say the red notes, are you talking about the star notes of the those gold that gold back type product check stacker?
It's the new gold species from, it's exactly what I was saying. It's the new species from the bullion repository. Yeah.
Right. Okay. That's just a negotiable instrument redeemable for gold backs. Yeah. It's just like any other ORM. It's not legal. It's not from the state of Texas. It's a private company making them, and they just have been they won't qualify for legal tender. But if Texas changes their law, it will be legal tender in Texas. But the state of Texas legally cannot make any currency themselves. They can't make digital
Correct.
currencies. They
Yep.
can't mint coins. What they can do, and the loophole for states making coinage, is like Alabama just created a design, an authorized design from the state of Alabama as a commemorative round, contracted with a private mint to make these commemorative rounds. And since they make gold and silver legal tender, that commemorative round is legal tender in the state. That is a loophole where states can coin money, but not money. They're coining bullion, and they can make it legal tender. If a state makes digital gold and silver legal tender, or decides to make their own currency, or decides to mint their own money, it's a violation of the Constitution.
So correct, real quick, Tiger, if I may, correct me if I'm wrong, just to help people understand the in species. Essentially, all they're doing, if they're not basically creating money, is another vehicle by which to transfer. It's basically like a glorified checking account.
That the electronic payment system is, it's not, I mean, sure, you can call it a bank account. It's like an electronic bank account that is not operated by the state, but is a vendor is contracted by the state of Texas, or I think it's multiple vendors. We were able to get that change in the law. Multiple vendors can be contracted by the state to operate these electronic payment systems, and the gold. The reason why we were trying to amend and we're kind of against part of the bill was that the gold is going to be held in the Texas Depository, which is private funds. So what we're fighting against right now around the country, and those bills are failing, actually passed in Texas, and the state of Texas, through contracted vendors, are going to be holding private citizens' funds in the Texas Depository. And when people transact with those digital currencies, the accounting of who owns the say certificate of ownership, or let's just call it that, certificate of ownership of those of the gold that's backing the digital currencies, is going to be held by a state, but it's going to be operated by a private vendor. It's like a public-private partnership.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Who mints the platinum dollar coin? The U.S. Mint. The U.S. Mint. Look it up. If you go to the U.S. Mint and look up platinum coins, it's going to have.
I don't think that's what she was referencing. I think she was talking. There was a confusion when you said the platinum dollar.
Oh yeah, the platinum dollar is the platinum. I think it's a platinum eagle, U.S.
That's
a $50. That's a $50 coin, not a dollar coin.
Yeah, it's $100. So
it's $100. That's right. That's right.
So one platinum dollar is one 1/100th of an ounce of platinum. So that would be $20, $21. So one platinum dollar is worth 21 Federal Reserve notes.
Okay. Now, when you were talking about about the rule in Texas, I forget how you worded it. Were you talking about alarms like what I saw with the Dallas Fort Worth? Similar to what one of these is, although that's with Israel.
Mm-hmm. So Valorem makes all the orms, Texas and everything. And then there's a private company that had an agreement contract with Valorem before Goldback did, and it's called the Star Note. It's not a red note. It's called the Star Note. So Texas has a Star Notes, and I think they're measured in centigrams. I think there's milligrams, centigrams, and then troy ounces, fraction of a troy ounce. So it's just a private currency made of gold, just like the Goldback, just like Kinesis Orms or metal marks. And when Texas fixes their law, it will become legal tender in the state.
Okay. So are they going to come up with different varieties, or is it just going to stick to that one, or you don't know?
I think they're going to stick to, they have multiple denominations, or they're coming out with it, or they already come out with it.
I don't know. I only know about the one that's Dallas Fort Worth, and I have one, and I haven't heard anything more about them.
Yeah, Gold Star Notes, Texas. Modern Texas Redback. It's called the Redback Gold Notes. The modern Texas Redback Gold Notes are now non-legal tender 24-karat layered commemorative polymer notes launched in late 2025 by the Texas Bullion Depository. But the Texas Bullion Depository is a private company that is also a state agency. So, Executive Order 6102, no law was passed.
There was no law passed. It was an executive order. In fact, Bozo, if you will look in my channel, I have a video on executive orders, and I did a subsequent one to it also. So it'll teach you about not only that executive order, but all the executive orders revolving around gold.
Yeah. Any other questions?
I'm looking.
Oh, Mike's like richly layered in 24-karat gold. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same technology as Goldbacks, as Kinesis Orums, as Metalmark Orums, and any other country that's had them, like Israel. There's one company that makes it. The technology isn't there yet to copy the technology. It's very expensive.
Sounds like you need special equipment, and if you don't know what you're doing, you can't get the special equipment.
Right. Yeah. The way they do it, I haven't been to their mint yet, but it's very sophisticated, very complicated, very expensive.
So Aaron wants to see your pinky ring.
It's onyx. Which one? I have two. I have an onyx one, and then I have one from the Knights of Columbus.
Oh, okay.
Columbus is cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
JM, thank you for dropping those links. I appreciate it.
Thank you, JM. Okay. Is there any other questions? Because I've covered a lot of what I wanted to get done. I want to get this word out.
Yeah. I would encourage everybody, to join Citizens for Sound Money. We need more citizen grassroots. We have a state chapter program. Once we get around 25 to 50 people in a state, we'll issue a charter, and we will then start training you. We'll send you newsletters. We'll keep you up to date. So go ahead and join Citizens for Sound Money. It's $25 a year for the base membership, or you can join at $100. If you join at $100, we'll send you a half ounce of digital silver through Kinesis. So basically, instead of paying $100, you'll be paying like $56 right now for a membership. So I think it's worth it.
Yeah, I agree.
So I want to ask you one question before, because I'm going to be having to get off here shortly.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you one question. It's a question that I ask whenever we do interviews or have discussions like this. We've asked you a bunch of questions. We've talked about a bunch of legislation, but if there's one point, one bottom line that you want to give people the information on, or just that little nugget, what would that nugget be?
I would say don't keep gold and silver to yourself. Tell everybody you know about gold and silver being money. Yep. And how gold and silver protects your purchasing power. Because the only way we're going to change this country and get back to transacting with gold and silver in our stores and businesses is if the entire populace knows. Most people don't know why they're living paycheck to paycheck. 70% of the country doesn't understand why last year's paycheck isn't getting as far as this year's. And it's because the government is stealing their wealth. And you have to explain to them what money is, and I'll give you the three characteristics. You guys take this down, write this down. The first characteristic is a medium exchange. Anything can be a medium exchange. The second is a unit account. All things have a unit account. 1, 2, 10, half, whatever that is. What differentiates money from currency and debt and credit is long-term store value. The dollar is a short-term store value. that you can buy. You get $100 today, you can spend $100 tomorrow. But can you buy the same things you can today with $100 as you can next year? No, but you can with gold and silver. So that is the differentiation. So don't keep it to yourself. Spread the word. You know, we need more people to know that the government is stealing from them through the printing of the currency, and that is inflation. And then once you tell them about gold and silver, send them to Hidden Secrets of Money and tell them to watch episode 4 of Mike Maloney's series. That is the most important episode that you can show to anybody, because when they realize how they're being robbed by the central banks, the bankers, and the federal government through inflation, they can never go back. Look, once you're red pilled, like in the Matrix, you can never go back to the Matrix. Once you're told the truth, you can never believe the lie again. So don't keep it to yourself. Keep how much gold and silver you have to yourself, but don't keep the fact that gold and silver is money.
In fact, if you can, I'm going to take a lesson out of Marxism. Teach the young ones.
Yes.
They indoctrinated the young ones early. We need to do the same thing, but with good, solid information to help them be good providers for their family. In fact, I did a video, released it, 2 days ago, 1 day ago, something like that, where I introduced a youngster, 8-year-old, to Eisenhower silver dollars.
Yeah.
And to listen to this young man, he was bright. I didn't show his face, but if I could, you would see he was bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. He was in the moment and learning. So teach everyone, the old ones, the young ones, the people in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely. The kids are the ones that are going to be the young numismatists through the American Numismatic Association. It's a great program. It not just teaches them about how to collect, but it teaches them about money and the importance of saving. You know, and the American Numismatic Association, numismatic, what is it? Numismatic Scholars Program is a great course to take.
I'm glad you said numismatic. The ANA does a lot of wonderful information. I want to plug somebody else. The Anti-Counterfeiting Educational Foundation also does a lot to work behind the scenes to ensure that the sanctity of the silver and gold that we have inside the U.S. is monitored. We check those people that are bringing in fake stuff. And folks, if you don't have access to an XRF or a Sigma Analytics, build a relationship with a coin shop, build a relationship with a bullion shop, and test your metals. It would suck if we came into a bad situation to find out that some of your stack was not real. So really check that stuff. Do your due diligence. That's the best piece of advice I can give.
Yeah, definitely learn how to detect fake coins. And if for rounds and coins, you can download a free app called the Precious Coins Test, and you can do the ping test. You don't need the stick, you don't need the pocket pinger. You can literally balance the coin on your finger and tap it. Everything's in the safe. I would grab a couple coins and show you, but actually,
no, it's all good. No worries.
Yeah, but yeah, the ping test. Use the magnet. There you go. Tiger has it.
I'm trying to. I'm not the best.
You want to
Sounds
hit
like
it with,
money.
Yeah, you want to hit another piece of metal, another coin, or wood stick.
I can go get my pinger.
Can't hear it.
Hold on, let me get my pinger.
I heard it pretty good.
Oh, did you? Okay.
It definitely sings. That's for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, you also a magnet. You want to get a very strong magnet. We had a guy come to the shop with a fake gold bar. He came to get it tested, and it just snapped right onto the magnet. And that's one quick way to get rid of fakes. Then you can go to more technical ways of grading it with XRF, or XRF is really expensive. Not a lot of coin shops have them, but a Sigma Analytics, most coin shops should have those.
And remember that a magnet is not always the best test. The counterfeiters are getting really smart. They're understanding the use of copper, tungsten. Yeah. So cultivate multiple resources, just like you do with your network. Have a good, solid network of really good people who have the community's interest at mind. That's going to be number one, not self-serving interest, community interest. And then surround yourself with a bunch of tools. Tiger talks about the
Hear it now?
there you go.
My
What's that?
speakers must be filtering out because I hear nothing.
Yeah, no worries. But make sure you surround yourself with good information and multiple tests. Tiger has great on specific gravity. You don't need any technology, just a little bit of math. He's got a worksheet for you. There's a lot of really great ways. Just make sure you understand a couple of them. And yeah, do your due diligence. That's the best thing you can do.
Yeah, the specific gravity test is great. I have somebody that brought in a pyramid of silver. I have no way to test it. Can't test it on the Sigma. I don't have my XRF that hasn't come in yet. And even with the XRF, you can't trust it. It's a big block. I'm going to be doing the specific gravity test to see if it's actually silver or not.
Well,
So, Tiger, will you do me one favor real quick? Share Stacking Surfer's comment.
Okay, looking.
It's the very last one. Folks, silver and gold doesn't go on sale.
Right.
You're not going to find $1,000 bar for $29.99.
No.
Okay. So, yeah.
I had a customer send me an eBay screenshot of a silver eagle for $29.95. I'm like, he's like, am I going crazy? Why is it so low? I'm like, because it's fake from China.
Because it's fake.
The guy had one review that it's fake. Don't buy it.
Nope, don't.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is that, if you can't afford the expensive tests, at least have a good relationship with someone who has something. I have a Sigma Pro. I want to buy a bridge for it, so that way I can test even these really thick 10-ounce bars, which won't fit. But if you don't have it, make friends with CoinShop or someone. And if you want to, the cheapest test I can think of is to go ahead and do the specific gravity test. All you need is sterile water, a scale, and a little bit of math. And if you don't like math, because some people think it's a 4-letter word, then go ahead and contact me. I have both a written form of a form to fill out so you can do the specific gravity math if you don't like computers. I also have an Excel spreadsheet. All you got to do is put in the numbers and you got your answer.
Right. All right.
Yep, it's good stuff. Well, hey, Daniel, thank you so much for your time. Tiger, thanks for having me up. I appreciate it.
I wouldn't have it any other way. You do a good bit of analysis. I do a good bit, but nothing to your degree. And this man right over here, he is pushing a lot to get sound money in our country. We need to support him. We need to support all his organizations. If you have not joined Citizens for Sound Money, you're not helping yourself or your children or your grandchildren or your neighbors. So please consider joining. When I first had my first interview with Daniel, I joined right then and there, if you remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, the other thing I need to ask, we're streaming on multiple platforms, thanks to Frostbite and thanks to Daniel. I would like it if you all would go to each other's channels, hit the subscribe button. But when you do that, please, I don't know about X and all the other formats, but in YouTube, if you don't if you just hit the subscribe, you don't hit the like, you don't leave a comment, or you don't hit the bell notification, YouTube might think you're a bot and take you out.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are all trying to build our channels to get the word out there. Yes, we want to build our channels to be able to not have to spend money and lose it also. But more importantly, it's for all of you. It's for you and your families and my grandchildren and everybody else and to spread the word. And if we don't spread the word, the word's going to die. Yep. So please subscribe to Citizens for Sound Money, subscribe to Frostbite, and subscribe here because we're working hard to get everything for all of you.
Absolutely. And please like it, because when you like the videos, the algorithm also picks that up, and then we'll start sharing it and putting it on people's recommended videos to watch. So if you haven't liked the video yet, please like it. It helps the algorithm to get the word out there.
Okay. Now, if you guys want to leave right now, we can. I have hit 26 likes. I can give away silver dime, or we can put that off till tomorrow because I have a plan for tomorrow. It's up to what you guys want to do.
I will default to your wisdom.
Daniel?
I can stick around for a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, so
Well, Daniel, if you have to go, we can do the will. If
Yeah,
you
we
need
can
to
do
get
that.
back, because I know that you got some stuff you got to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
and
Let's
you
go then.
look like you either need a pillow or a cup of coffee.
I need both, but if I take coffee, I'm not going to sleep, so I'll probably take the pillow. It's been a very long week. I've been doing a lot with C4SM and my new coin shop and just everything that's been going on, testifying in Maryland and just keeping track of everything. My director of operations is on vacation in Greece, so I had to take up the reins. So.
Well, by the way, I did put I add either I have or I will put your bullion shop in the description and below. Okay.
Appreciate it.
So if you're in Florida or you just want to call them, you'll have the information.
Yeah, absolutely. The coin shop is called Sovereign Gold and Silver Exchange in Sebastian, Florida. And the phone number is 954-834-3429, 954-834-3429.
Okay.
All right, guys.
So those of
Thank
you
you.
who want to be eligible for the silver dime, if you're not on my channel, please hop on there. I'll give you a couple minutes, and then we're going to spin it away.
All right,
So,
guys. Have a good one. Good night.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thanks, Daniel. We'll see you.
Later.
Appreciate
Bye.
you. Okay, we're sitting at 8:30. I'll give it a couple minutes, and we'll bring up the wheel and spin it away.
Sounds good. Great conversation. A lot of great information. And again, folks, if you're not doing so, if you really want to protect the sanctity of your wealth, get involved and understand what's happening in your state's legislation. Tiger, I think what we might want to do one time is choose a couple states, go to the legislation and walk people through how to turn on notifications, how to get registered, how to turn on notifications. States are all a little bit different, but overall the process is about the same. So if you guys are interested in doing that while he's preparing to do the will, put a 1 in chat, and then maybe we can talk about that on the next Stack Elector on Tiger's channel.
That'll work.
Okay, we can put something together for you and walk through. So if that's something that you guys want to know, again, you guys know me. I love doing the legislation. I like what Daniel them are doing for sound money. But again, just make sure that you are sharing this out and make sure that you are, getting smart on this. Do your due diligence, think critically, and again, make sure that you are subscribing to both channels.
Exactly. And we definitely do need all the support. We all work really hard at what we're doing to get out for all of you. So it doesn't cost you anything just to hit the like button or hit the subscribe button, and to hit the like, bell notification or a comment takes a few seconds of your time. How many times do we all do stuff that wastes all our time and we get nothing out of it? Here, you're getting information to help you. So please show a little bit of love and become a subscriber and come visit our videos, because we really do work hard to try to give good information.
I want to address something that Vote for Pedro said. It said Minnesota is odd. No tax at the LCS, but tax for online bullion. The tax for online bullion has nothing to do with Minnesota. It has everything to do with the platform and the tax law in which you buy it in. This is why the Colorado thing is such a big deal, because if you buy Colorado from a coin shop online, you're going to pay your tax on that, but you'll also pay your local sales tax because you're purchasing, if they have sales tax, purchasing it through there. So the amount of money that you can be charged is going to be much more expensive especially as precious metals go up. So it's important to understand not only what your state laws are, but what the laws regarding things like purchasing through Amazon or AppMex or JM Bullion or ST Bullion or Hero Bullion or Pinehurst Coins or something like that. Make sure you know where those shops are. Make sure you understand what the state requirement is for that shop. And if you want, just ask them, right? You can simply go to the source, ask them, hey, if I buy this online, do I do that? And some places, and again, if you do this, they're going to charge you for that. But that's why this bill with Colorado and removing the exemption is such a big deal. So
and also make sure that when you're dealing with someone that they know what your state laws are. In fact, way back in the beginning of my stacking journey, I was about ready to buy metals from ITM Trading, and that representative was highly insistent to add on taxes because I was in West Virginia. Now, this was 2021. 2019, the state repealed all the taxes on precious metals, and this guy would not back off. He told me that my pawn shop owner didn't know what she was talking about, and the other bullion dealers didn't know what they were talking about. So I didn't buy anything from ITM Trading. So just keep in mind, you got to be cognizant that someone either A, might be trying to take advantage of you, or two, they don't know what they're talking about. Okay, so let's go ahead and get these names harvested and get all participants.
I want to address one more question from Mike. Mike says, sound money sounds great, but physical gold and silver as legit tender lessens leverage and the velocity for financial markets. How do you provide liquidity? And liquidity is going to come in the same way that you do it with numismatics. You're going to have to cultivate your exit strategy. So depending upon what bullion or what coin you're dealing with, you're going to have to find people that want that metal. And in the time of economic downturn, you're going to have to know people that are able to purchase it at that time. It's not a perfect strategy, but it's far better than some of the alternatives.
Okay, good point. Now we'll shuffle this. And before we leave, I think tomorrow I'm going to do my quarterly members appreciation live stream. So all are welcome. I might give a couple things out to subscribers, but the members are, because they've been members for a while, are entitled to getting 1 or 2 ounces of silver rounds. So that's coming probably tomorrow. So stay tuned. So here we go. We'll turn down the sound because Clark Kent will have a fit. Congratulations, AZ Coins. Go ahead and send me a claiming email within 2 days, 48 hours, and I'll go ahead and get that prepared for you. So congratulations.
Unfortunately, AZ Coins just moved in. We don't have his address, so I'm just kidding. Congrats, AZ Coins. I have to give him a hard time just because.
And I understand you're just because. I get just because every day from you.
Well, hey, Tiger, thank you so much for bringing me into the conversation. Folks, I'm not asking you guys to become experts on legislation. We'll do a lot of that work with you and for you. As Daniel said, Citizens for Sound Money tracks thousands of these bills across all states. But I also want to monitor it for certain things. So I'm going to try and do what I can as well. As information comes out, if I find something, if you have situations or states, I'll be following Texas primarily. I am going to follow Colorado because I have friends that live there. And I'll be following Utah because I have family there. I don't worry about Colorado. And I will not follow Colorado until they change the name of their state motto. The state motto.
What is
They
it?
can no longer be called the Sunshine State. They need to be called the Cereal State. Do you know why?
No, I'm thinking there's a dad joke in there somewhere.
Because of all the Frosted Flakes and Fruit Loops that live there. Hey, folks, I hope you all take care of yourselves. I'm going to wrap up and get on out of here.
Same here. So thanks, Frosty. Thanks, everyone.
Take care. Thanks,
See you
Daniel.
next time.
We'll see you.
Night.